It's the Scottish Parliament, so just to be getting it out there, Mark, behave. Shh. Yeah, so who do we think meets in these buildings? This building? MSPs. Councillors. Yeah. Some public. Yeah. Yeah. And what do you think they do in there? About, yeah, right, talk rubbish, okay. Do you think they help? No. Do you think they help? No. Right, so, yeah. So we were saying MSPs in public and all the rest of it. Well, they're basically, that is what they're called. They're serving officers of a commercial corporation. So we've got these people up on some kind of, well, me not personally, but the vast majority of people. Can I just say before I go any further though, these are my opinions. So, yeah, don't, I'm not asking you to believe them, take them, this is just from me, this is my opinions. I have also, studied this for a while, done a bit of research, so, yes, anyway. The serving officers of a commercial corporation, because that's what it is. They're there to make money, and that's it. And they're making the money off of us. Not me anymore, I have to say, we'll get to that, but they're making money from everybody that's working, taxis, etc. And there, it just says that is their job. They are not helping us at all. They're taking from us, and it's take all the time. We get nothing back from them. We got all those questions wrong, apart from the last one, because they do talk rubbish. Yeah, so that was absolutely correct. They do. Right. Okay. Does anybody know when slavery was abolished? Correct. Right. Yeah. I gave you a bit of a hint with my last wee spiel, but yeah. Do you think slavery was ever legal? Nope. And is anybody here in debt to a financial institution? Yep. Quite a few of us. Yep. So you're right, absolutely. Slavery has never been abolished. And actually, we are all, not me, still slaves. To the system. To the system. And to some degree, I work full time for my sins. And I do still pay taxes for my sins because I don't want to. And that is that's my next project, is to, so I've done a lot of taxes, income tax. We're doing with inland revenue. It's slightly trickier, but I will get there. I will do it, and I will not pay income tax, or I'll stop working. So yes, slavery's never been abolished, and we are considered slaves right now. Slavery is legal, okay? So yeah, so in the legalese terms, talk about that as we go on. It is legal. So in these corrupt, I'm going to call them corrupt corporations, because they are. They use their own language. And we don't know that language, because we're just speaking English. But they've got their own language, the lawyers, all these people, they use legalese. And I'm not going to talk about all that, because it's a massive, massive subject, so I'm not going to go into all that. I'm here, for a purpose. I'm just giving you a little bit of sort of background as to how and why I've got to the place I've got to. There is a difference between legal and lawful. And I'm very careful now when I speak about anything. People say, it's not legal. And I'll say, what do you mean it's not legal? I don't deal with legalities. I deal with the law. And I deal with common law. I'm not dealing with any of this shenanigans. I'm going to try not to swear tonight, because I stopped smoking today as well, which probably wasn't the best. I know. What was that all about? It was a sign. I lost my vape and I thought, right, that's it. Anyway, so, so there is a big difference between legal and lawful. And we want to just abide by the law, and the common law, which is man, woman, sovereign beings. Okay, that's the common law. That's the one I'm only going to use. So, so who said they were in debt? Yeah, I did. Nobody's in any debt. right? Nobody is in any debt. I know this is probably, it'll be, I don't know how many people are aware of this. I've been on this journey for just short of a year, which doesn't actually seem that long, but it feels a lot longer because every day I read something new about this topic, and I am just going to share you my journey. Once I've shown you these slides, I'm going to tell you what I've been doing, what's worked for me, and I'm going to also give you a couple of experiences that haven't worked for people and the possible reasons why. So yeah, so nobody's in debt. Debt doesn't exist. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. It's just figures on a screen. It's and I'll explain that when we go in. You have to be in a for a debt. I don't even like the word debt because it doesn't exist. Okay, there is no such thing as debt. We get into a contract with. Let's use a credit card for instance, right? So you sign up for a credit card. For that to be lawful, not legal, because we're not doing that. For that to be lawful, there has to be 2 wet ink signatures for that credit card to be lawful for. So you might sign up for it. You might go, I'll take that, I think you'll find a lot of the time it's now online applications. No such thing as a wet ink signature anymore. Right? Back in the day, yep, you'd go to your bank manager, you'd be whatever, he probably would go, I don't know if he did. But certainly now, a lot of the time, we're doing online stuff. So I'm not going into the money side either. That's another huge, big topic. It's all in my books here. I've got lots stored in my brain, but I don't want to sort of digress down lots of different avenues because there's loads. But yeah, the monetary system at the moment, I think, is in dire straits. I don't think anybody's going to deny that, It's not something that I couldn't really give a monkey's about. I am cash queen, I'll take my money out. I would much rather have money in my pocket rather than, doing this bit. But I'm not going to go down onto that. So yeah, you can all relax. These are no in debt. Right? If you don't believe me, come and speak to me at the end, and aye. By the end of my talk, I'm hoping you will believe that, because that's why I'm here. I want to empower you. I want you to drop the fear of debt and money and finances, because it kills people. Let's be honest, right? I know people personally who have got into financial difficulties, and they have ended, and they've just said there's no way out. There's no need for it. There's no need. And that's why I'm here. I want to, try and get you to drop the fear and believe me. So, right, okay. Go on to the next one. Quite passionate about this. So, those in power have got a huge big secret. Now, those in power, we're obviously talking about these guys sitting in that Scottish Parliament, rabbiting on a lot of nonsense about whatever, how can we get money off these people, blah, 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 right? So, paying tax is optional. Now, I know that, right? I know that, because I'm not paying any tax other than my income tax. Now, I've got a 30-hour contract, I'm on a good salary, and I will not do overtime because that takes me, I don't want to be paying these buggers, excuse me, sorry. I don't want to be paying these people my money, because it's my money. Why I didn't ask to pay income tax. So I try and keep below, or just, I am at the moment, I have changed my job quite recently, so my job prior, I was just on that threshold. I was just paying a little bit tax. I'm a wee bit higher salary now, so I'm paying a wee bit more, and it's grating on me. It's really bugging my bits. So, and I live quite frugally. I'm in a fortunate position. Not everybody will be. Maybe I don't have a mortgage, so I do. My money is. I want it to be mine, right? My mortgage is paid. I'm quite old, so it's paid. I don't have any sort of outgoings. I don't pay my gas and electricity. Don't pay my council tax. I pay my credit. I've got a credit card, which I pay because I choose to pay that, because I choose to spend on that what I want. So yes, I do pay for that one. But you don't have to. I don't have to. I could go and max that out to whatever, 20 grand or whatever limit I've got on that, and then just go, nah, no paying it. And there's absolutely nothing they can do. I'm not suggesting you do that, okay, because it is a process, and it is, you know, you have to know what you're doing, and you have to know what you're talking about. So I'm not suggesting you do that, and it's not what I want to do. I'm not going to go and screw people over for you know, if I'm buying something, I like to use cash, but if it's something online, I need to use my card, then that's absolutely fine. So, yeah, registering a vehicle is optional. So you don't have to register your vehicle with the DVLA. Now, it's another interesting one, because they use your vehicle, they use your property as well. So they use your vehicle, say you've got car finance, and you end up, you know, you can't work, so you can't pay for your finance on your car. And you run into a bit of debt. I don't know what you call it that, but that's what it is in most people's eyes. They'll just come and clamp your car, or they'll tow it away or whatever. Now, I've not done this because I have no fear of these things happening to me. I have examples I can give you where things have happened and people have registered to stop this from happening. We do get clamped cars, and people, you know, you get them towed away and then you've got to pay to get it back and all this jazz. You can cut the clamps off, though. If that ever happens, by the way, just chop these off, bad boys off, and you're on your way, you know. Don't worry about that. It's not your property. It's fine. I'm sounding a bit of a rebel, eh? I'm really not, but I just don't have any fear. I just don't want people to think that they are, you know, that they have some power over me. I am my own woman, and you're your own, you know, and you need to take that power back, because we're just being absolutely obliterated by so much nonsense. Yeah, so registering a vehicle, I've still got my vehicle, and I've got so, you know, I've been busy, but you can register your vehicle in whatever name, because you'll find on the bottom of your registration documents, it says that you're the registered keeper. That doesn't mean you're the legal, and they're using that term legal, right? You're not the legal, it doesn't mean you're the legal owner. So you can register that under any name you desire. Corky the cat. You get your insurance, Corky the cat. That's Corky the cat's car. There's absolutely no. So if you get to the point where, say, go back to the example, you can't pay for your finance or whatever, and they're going to come and take the car off you, that's not my car. That's not Tracy Mearns' car. That's Corky's car. And they're like, what? And out you come with your documents. Yeah, Corky the cat. You got insurance? Yeah, insurance. Corky the cat's insurance. It's perfectly lawful, because you are only. That name on that document is just the registered keeper. It doesn't mean that they are the legal owner of that vehicle. So I've not done it. I'm going to do it, though. Just for bants, I'm going to do it. So paying a fine, yeah, it's the same scenario. You don't need to pay a fine. For anything to stick, I mean, bus lanes, you know, speeding fines, whatever. If we're dealing in common law, we're not hurting anybody. There's no victim, right? So any sort of motoring offences, how else can you fight? I mean, obviously criminal offences is completely different, because you're then, you know, so common law is we you know, we're not going to hurt anybody else. We're not going to steal from anybody. We're not going to hurt them, and we're not going to, you know, abuse their property or whatever like that. But any of these motoring offences, all the nonsense that they're trying to charge us for, driving up a bus lane. I used to drive them. You know, back in the day when cars were along a Princess Street and everything, it was like, who cares? Just use the road. I mean, seriously, there's bus lanes at Milton Road. The road's half dead, half the time. Do you know? It's just all money, guys. That's all it is. They just want your money. We need to stop it. We really genuinely need to stop it. It's optional, and I can tell you why that is, and yes. And if you do get one, you're not paying it. Like, and attending court is optional. Right? So you're asked, and I've not had a court appearance for a wee while, or a court summons or anything like that. I'm you know, I don't get it to that stage. I don't let things get to that stage, hopefully. But it asks you to attend court. You just, well, I don't want to attend. I don't want to be there. Well, all right. Again, for stuff like this. I'm not talking about criminal stuff here, guys. Right? I'm not talking about criminal stuff. Obviously, if you've smacked somebody in the face, you need to pay for that. Like, this is civil. Yes, absolutely. Anything to do with money. We were talking about debt. We were talking about, you know, taxes. It's all monetary. It's all, you know, it is all civil. So we're not talking about criminal stuff here. So yes, but just to let you see that, you know, they're not going to tell you this, are they? They're not going to tell you this. Somebody needs to tell you this. And I'm not an expert. This is just a journey I've gone on, you know, and I would recommend everybody done their own research and just dig away and whatever bits you know you were interested in. And it is fascinating. If you flip onto the next site, I've not even got them up here, I'm just relying on... Yeah. So, right, every mortgage and loan is fully repaid from day one. Now, I did have this at the beginning of my slides, and then I took it back out because I didn't know if anybody... Has anybody heard of the straw man? You're bound to have. Yeah, right. That's why I didn't put it up at the front, because I thought I'll give you a wee taste of all the corruption first, and then we'll deal with him. So, yeah, so the straw... I mean, that's basically it. So when we're born... and your mum or your dad or whoever is registered in your birth, you're basically handing yourself over to the state. It's quite scary, you know. It is quite scary. I haven't deregistered myself, you know, but I think if I was to have any more children or grandchildren, if I could make influence, I wouldn't register them. I just wouldn't do it. I'm not going into that either because I've not done that. That's not been my journey. But absolutely... we are straw men. So that's our legalese birth title. So mine being Tracy Mearns. When we're dealing with common law, I am Tracy of the Mearns family. So we're changing our power. Right? We're not using our legalese straw man name that they've gave us when mum registered at the birth. So now I'm not using that. I'm not going around saying, oh, I'm Tracy of the Mearns family. Oh, check me out. No. But for the purpose of these notices that we're going to serve on these corrupt corporations, we are going to be of whatever family you are. We're taking back our power, and that's how we're going to do it. So I'm glad you've all heard of that, Mr. Strawman. Yeah, basically what I was just saying there. So when was it created? It was created when your parents applied for a birth certificate. And the process of that is that they basically lose ownership of you as your child. You're handing them over to the state, and they're allowing this legal fiction to be created, and that's what they use. That's what they use to get you. Absolutely. And the minute you go, oh God, that was me speeding up the bus lane. There's £60. That's it. That's all they want. They don't want you to know any different. You know. So. We're not doing... Well, I'm not doing that anymore, sorry. I keep saying we're not, but I'm not. Right, we've already spoken about that. That was a wee baby there, but he's quite old for a baby. I know. I was trying to pick out these, like, wee pictures. Right, Pauline. So, yes, it's time to take back your power. Absolutely. I've done it. I'm a year, almost. I'm going to say November. It was the beginning of November, so at the end of October. We're in September now, so we're almost there. We're almost done a year. And I stopped paying council tax. I'd had enough. I just thought, I'm not doing this anymore. It's my money. I'll decide where that money goes. So I put them on. Now, this is what I was going to bring up on my emails, because I've got all my notices on emails, but I didn't want to, because some of them are 7, 8 pages, 9, 10 pages long. But I do have them here. I've got one. I've not printed them all off because there's tons. And you're not going to be able to see them, but I can read you some of what is in that notice and what acts and statutes, their own legalese, let me tell you, that they are breaking. So these guys make the laws. They're not the common laws, but they make these acts and statutes in government, in Parliament, and then they break them themselves, do you know? But unless we know that, we're just oblivious, because it is jargon. That's all the language that they use. It's just like, it's nonsense. So, yeah, there's no path to peace. Peace is the path. This is where we want to get to, because there's been so much turmoil. It's just the last 3 years is just, yeah. And so that's Mahatma Gandhi's quote, and I'm saying that there's no path to freedom. Freedom is the path. It is the path. Do you know, this is where we need to, I've done it. You guys need to do this. That would make me so happy. But yes, and I think, you know, I've spoken to so many people. I've done notices for people. I've done them myself. So initially I'd done these myself. I needed to see it work for me. I've taken a lot of advice and guidance from another Telegram group that I've followed, and they do weekly Zooms, so I've tuned into them. I've probably initially done about, I don't know, 6 or 7 of those, maybe not even as many as that actually. I think after I watched the first Zoom I was like, I'm there, I'm in there, I'm doing this is happening, because it was just, these notices are just so powerful, and so it snowballed from there with me. So I did initially put the council on notice, end of October, November. And the process, now I've not got that all up here. This is what's in my head, a lot of this stuff. So it's a 3-letter process. Again, I don't know, some people may well have heard of this before. And we're asking for a freedom of information request as part of the notice that's in the notice. So that's what we're asking. What have you guys got on me, basically? And I'm going to use the council tax one as an example. I don't pay gas and electricity. Okay, so when they put the prices up, and it all just went a bit, and I was just like, nah, not doing that either. Not paying for that. It's too much. So I then went on that journey. I had already done this, went on that journey, and I have put in my own meters. So I've taken out the existing meters, because when you have the, say, Eon or Scottish Power, whatever energy company supplies your gas and electricity, that's free, guys, by the way. Gas and electricity is free. I don't know if you know that, but it is. We shouldn't be paying for that. When it comes through your pipes, because your pipes are already there, all right, National Grid deals with all that shenanigans. It's not Scottish Power or Eon or whatever company it is. You're paying a standing charge for having their boxes in your house, all right? You don't have to take them out, but I don't want somebody else's property in my house if I can get my own. So it's a wee bit more cost me a couple £100 per box, whatever, to get changed. Worth every penny. I've not paid gas and electricity for 10 months. I've got summer house and hot tub and all sorts going on. It's great. Love it. Aye. So, and the other thing I've got on notice, so I was on holiday in Mexico last year with my daughter. I just stay at home with my daughter, 16-year-old daughter. And like I say, I'm in quite a fortunate position. Don't have a mortgage, so I don't have to deal with that. I know people, the woman that I've taken a lot of guidance from is in the process. I think Katrina, you might be able to keep me right, because you're also, I think she's about a year and a half with the non-mortgage payments. Okay, so she has also stopped paying her mortgage, and as yet has had no, repercussions or anything. I haven't done that, so I can't talk about that. But what I have done is a credit card. So when I was on holiday in Mexico with my daughter, we got conned, scammed, whatever. Can't believe it. Oh my God. I genuinely could not believe it. But anyway, 4 tequilas later, I was walking at that shop with whatever they were giving me. I love to. Can I take 2? Anyway, it was jewellery. Complete crap jewellery. It was meant to be diamonds, etc. Anyway, so I ended up with a £700 bill on my credit card. Now, the minute I got back on, and this is a true story, by the way, I got back on the boat because we had gone to visit a wee island, and when we got there, we were welcomed by these two guys, and come into the jewellers. We had done a lovely wee ride on the go-kart things and all that jazz. Oh, hi. Do you want a wee tequila? Oh, hi, I'll have fun. My daughter's like, like this, you know. She was only 14. I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, about 3 tequilas in. There's this beautiful jeweller shop, absolutely stunning. All the lights and everything looked amazing. So I was like, come and what colour choose. So anyway, we got conned out of these rings, and I knew instantly when I got back on the boat. I checked my bank statement because he gave me a price, and it was in Mexican pesos. So I'm like 3 sheets to the wind with these tequilas and all that. God knows what I had done them, but I was quite, and I don't really drink. Anyway, I checked and I was like, what? That's great. That's not what he told us. Anyway, phoned the bank. It was on a MasterCard or something like that. I thought, bank's going to pay for that. It's clear-cut fraud. Managed to go into TripAdvisor and it was avoid this shop. And I was thinking, oh, great, yeah, okay. Anyway, they never paid it, long story short. So I put those guys on notice as well. It was Bank of Scotland. And I've never had any hassle from that one, actually. Council tax, probably been my easiest one. I know, which is the biggest shock to most people. But you need to get in there before it gets to sheriff officers and court orders and all that jazz, because we've just encountered a problem quite recently, and I almost cancelled this talk, and I think Richard just about was like, well, no, you can't, you have to do this. But yes, and so we're learning as we go as well. We're always learning. We're never going to know everything. Absolutely. There's other processes, there's other ways to do things, but what I've done has worked for me. And that's what I want to, I wish I could get this up, but you're not going to be able to see it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to read, so I'll not look at you. I'm going to read a wee bit of it. So this is the first notice for the council tax, okay? Now, we need to go for the head honcho, all right? We need to go for the CEO of whatever company, corporation. We need to go, because for a contract to exist in law, right, we're dealing in common law here, for a contract to exist, we need 2 wet signatures in ink. I've already said that. Who in this room agreed to pay council tax? No. Anybody? No. Nobody has. Right? It's just been an assumption that you have to pay that. Mm-hmm. No, you've not signed it. For it to be in law, that's what I'm saying, there has to be between one man and another man, or woman to man. It has to be a man, woman. It has to be a contract. That has to happen. There has to be 2 signatures. You have to agree with it. I've got all the laws, acts and statutes. They're all there. I'm not going to quote them all because you're not going to remember them, and it's probably quite irrelevant, but please do your own research on just some common law and contract law, etc., because it's all bloody fraud. Excuse my French. Sorry for swearing. I'm on the camera and everything, but it just annoys me so much. So I'm going to just read a wee bit. It's quite a long-winded. This one, that's actually, I don't need that. So the one for council tax, we can put any fines, penalty charges. Now in England they do have water, they pay for their water as well. We have that as part of our council tax, so that's fine. I've got gas and electricity council tax, fines, sheriff officers, bailiffs, credit cards, fine, yeah, all those. Anything that's kind of monetary, where people are trying to get money off you and you're not blinking wanting to give them it. That's the ones we want to get, because you don't have to. Right, okay, so the notices basically, I mean, it's A4, I've just got them on note. There's nothing, I've not actually stamped these ones. They do get stamped, but I've not done these ones. I've just printed these off today to show you. So it's a notice of lawful response. It's a notice of conditional acceptance. It is specific data subject access requests. So you're asking, I know it's all signs, it's all jargon, isn't it? But this is what we're asking the council for. And it's a notice to agent, to principal, and a notice to, principal to agent. So it works both ways. So it's man to man, basically. That's what it's saying, or man to woman, or whatever. We're dealing with human beings. So I'm writing this notice to the CEO. Does anybody else live in East Lothian? Yep. Yep. We've got a couple of... Yay! Yeah. Okay. So I have gone for the chief exec of East Lothian Council. All right. We're not going for East Lothian Council because that's just the corporation. We need to go for another human being, okay? You know, and this is happening, by the way, guys. This is real. This is happening. I know people that have served notices on certain companies, corporations, and they are backtracking. They are shitting their pants, okay? And they're passing the buck to other people to deal with it. And we're just getting them on notice. And we're just going to get that. So it is working. It's happening. And the more people that are on board, it's going to collapse. Fingers crossed, right? We don't want to be paying corrupt corporations. Your money is your money. I want you to keep that in your pocket as much as you possibly can and spend it on the good things. Holidays. Yeah, so I'm writing this to Monica, acting as the chief executive. Now, I'm not going to be able to put that out there.
Can you try and log in again?
Nah, I can't be. I'm no technical. Anyway, right, I'm going to stand up because I'm getting bored sitting. So at the top, so where we've got an address at the top here, I've got Tracy of the family Mearns. My name's Tracy Mearns. I'm not going to call myself Tracy of the family. But for the purpose of these notices, this is how we're dealing with it. Now, I'm in the process of opening up a new bank account. I will come back to that. I'm not going to get distracted, but I'm going to try and open up a new bank account in this format, Tracy of the Mearns family. I don't know if it's possible because I've got a birth certificate, which I didn't really want to have, but and when we're writing our address, it's a care of address, right? So it's a care of my address. They don't need to know. I'm not going to tell them that I stay in Kilkenzie. I'm telling them it's near Kilkenzie. They don't need to know. None of their business. Oh, I sound like a big toughie here. Katie Hopkins was on the stage, by the way. Sorry. That's the last of it. I was here and I'm looking out there going, oh my God, it must have been terrifying looking at all this. But anyway, so we're writing to the chief exec. So we're asking for a formal freedom of information request. You don't need to remember this, you can write it down, but I've got all these on file. I'm not going to, that's what I'm saying, you don't need to remember it all. I'm just trying to give you a wee bit of what these notices, what they say, and some of the acts that they themselves have made that they're breaking their own act statutes. So we're asking, please accept this as a formal freedom of information request made under the Freedom of Information Act 2000. Okay, for the following information that you ought to have on public record. So they should have all this information. I stand under the jurisdiction of the Common Law Court. A ruling by the Common Law Court on the 8th of April 2018 confirms the annulment of existing council tax legislation and acts and statutes do not apply to living men and women. Right? Now that is their own act. The council tax have their own handbook. You can buy that. You can go to the library and look for it. You can read all this yourself. It's there. Right? It doesn't apply to living men and women, which we all are, right? We're not like, fictional characters, which is what they are making out that we are. And that goes back to the straw man stuff, which I'm not getting into. So, the aforementioned notice stating charges, amount due and payable is not a bill, alright? So it does not conform to the definition of a bill as per the Bills of Exchange Act 1882. That hasn't changed, okay? Chapter 61, blah, blah, blah. And it states, a bill of exchange is an unconditional order in writing addressed by one person to another, signed by the person giving it, requiring the person to whom it is delivered to pay on demand or at a fixed or determinable, not detrimental, future time, a sum certain in money to or to the order of another specified person. That's just what I was saying about the comment. For a contract to work, it has to be two human beings. I don't even like that word, human beings. Sovereign men and women, right? That's because that's what we are, right? I just read, interestingly, I don't want to digress too much because I know I can talk. Have I got to wind up? How long have I got? No? Are we all good? Yeah. All right, cool. Because I'm on this all the time. This is when I'm not working, or even when I come in from work, I'm on research and other stuff, right? And we're all barons and baronesses. Like, how cool is that? Like, that's Jen. Like, you can call yourself Baron Richard Enos. Absolutely. I'm going for it. You know when you got your drop-down boxes, Mr., Mrs., no, Baron. Like, I'm doing it. Well, sorry, Baroness for me, but guys, it's bloody brilliant. Honestly, it's amazing. I love it. It's true. Do the research. Honestly, it's out there. It's fabulous. So we've got that bit. So there's 2 acts are broken already, right? So it's there's the annulment of the existing council tax legislation, which they have in their own handbook. Went to a common law court in April, and it states that living men and women do not. And it's annulled. They don't have to pay it. All right. Nobody knows this though. Nobody's telling you this either. So, gets better. So then I'm asking them. So I've told them about this Bill of Exchange Act from 1882, and I'm asking them. So this bill that you're sending me for the council tax, is that then lawful? Right. These are the questions I'm asking. So it's saying that I, woman, Tracy of the Mearns family, under severe financial hardship, duress, alarmed and distressed, will revert to paying the full amount of council tax demanded when East Lothian Council reverts to fulfilling its proper function by serving residents and ceases to be complicit in criminal plunder. Love it. The abuse of residents and the destruction of businesses described herein, in view of East Lothian Council inability to communicate with I, to address I, concerns raised in notices section 151, which is the blah blah bit. Any legal costs incurred in this dispute is their liability. So I'm going to start charging these guys as well if they don't get their act together. I'm not really, but I've threatened to, like they threaten us. I can't be arsed. I didn't want their money. I don't want them to take mine. So I'm not going to do it. But you can, and it's in here. It's in the notice. If you really want to dig deep, you could. So, I hereby give notice that I reserve the right to remain in honour and pay £5 in future payments of council tax until you can substantiate your claim to full payment. So I don't know how much you pay, but for instance, my council tax, I'm in a flat, right? I'm not in a big fancy house, I'm in a wee flat in Kilkenzie. And I think my council tax, and I'm single parent, so I don't know. My last bill probably came in, it was about 90 odd quid, right, a month. Fucking 90 quid's a lot of money. Do you know? It's a lot of money, so I'm done with that. I'm sure you guys in Edinburgh, your tax bands are probably a lot more than that. When I stayed in I had a 2-bed semi-detached shop in Trinite, it was more, I think it was about 120 or something like that, but it's came down a wee bit. But you know what? They're not even worthy of that £5, but we're remaining in honour because that's what we do as common law people, men and women, right? So we're going to just say this. So anybody paying council tax at the moment, I didn't do this, by the way. Oh no, I think I did for a week, and then I thought, they're not even getting that £5. Cancel that. Do you know what I mean? I did, because I had just thought I was done. But to remain in honour, yeah, exactly. To remain in honour, because 28 days, so there's 3 notices, I've said that already, but there's 3 notices. 28 days from the first notice to sending out your second notice, and then they only get 14 days to answer you from your second to your third notice. So we're dealing 6 weeks in total. So that's like £7.50, if you want to, argument's sake. Do you know what I mean? £5 for 1 month. So we don't want to just go, stop it, boom. We want to just be a wee bit nice to them and give them a £5. Because they're not going to answer any of this, by the way. They have no answers. So it is my understanding that demanding monies by false representation is in breach of the Fraud Act 2006, Section 2. You can look, this is out there, all these Fraud Acts, these are all out there. It is also my understanding that demanding monies without providing full disclosure is in breach of the Fraud Act 2006, Section 3. Okay. It is my understanding that demanding monies without providing evidence of authority or jurisdiction is in breach of the Fraud Act 2006, Section 4. So how many is that? We got 5 already? Yeah? And I'm only on the second page. Wow. It is my understanding that Section 48, Common Law Procedure Act 1854, sign an affidavit to truth that contract is correct to the 7 Nolan Principles. The Nolan Principles are not listed. So if you want to find out what they are, I know what they are, but I'm not going to, you don't need to know. It's just part of the common law. Common law is quite a huge read. So, Statutory Oaths Act, Section 5, signatory of truth to penalty or of perjury. It's my understanding that Administration of Justice Act 1970, Part 5, punishment for unlawful harassment of debtors, because they do harass you, right? If you owe anybody money, they're not coming to you with a nice wee letter and say, oh, please, could you maybe, give us a, whatever you've got, a tenner or something like that. They're taking you to court. They're giving you proper fear on those letters. Like, absolute, they're horrific. I don't even open them now. I get the occasional one now and again. The one that I've had the most problem with, believe it or not, was parking in a car park in Portobello that I wasn't meant to be parking in. What? Hello? It was like I don't know, these stupid £60. That's the one I've had the most hassle with. The most stupidest, ridiculous one that I could have just went rip, but no, I keep getting, and I put that company on, and then they sell the debt to somebody else, and now it's about 400 quid, who knows? Anyway, don't worry about that. There's nothing to worry, that's what I'm saying. If anybody is interested in doing this, you need to drop the fear. Alright, because if you're still fearful, if you're still sitting there going, oh, what if somebody chats my door? What if I get another letter? Doesn't matter. It genuinely does not matter. You've got them on so much stuff. We're not going to end up in court. I want to be in court, but if I do, answer this, mister, do you know? So, anyway, so we're about 5 or 6 acts that they've already broken, right? So we're basically asking them, I require to see a copy of your certificate of incorporation. The Local Government Act of 1888, Section 79, incorporated all county councils. So all duties and liabilities of the inhabitants of a county shall become and be duties and liabilities of the council of such county. Therefore, East Lothian Council is liable for these bills.
For what? Sorry?
For these bills. Now this is from the Local Government Act of 1888. Right, this is how long ago these guys have been screwing us over, if you like. So even in their own acts, they are saying, and I know it sounds like I can give you copies, can't give you this copy because I've only got one, but I've got all these, if you can speak to me at the end if you want me to send them to an email address or whatever, if that's the process that you want to go down, it's all there. So coercion, coercive activity is an attempt to bind man and woman into slavery. Alright, this is a crime. I require you to provide me with a copy of East Lothian Council Compliance Policy for the Slavery Act 2015. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do it. But this is what you are asking them to do. Oh, right. Oh, goodness. So, it is a man and woman acting as agents for East Lothian Council, because you're not going to get somebody, you might get somebody in the benefits office, or you might get somebody in, but they usually just sign it randomly, or it'll be you're not actually going to get anybody to sign in wet signature. Never. So it's a man and woman acting as agents for East Lothian Council who will be held accountable in their own full, private and individual capacity for crimes perpetrated against the people. If you can't respond to me as another woman or a man, like I'm doing, responding to you, then bother. Because I act with honour, I will be happy to pay the requested council tax amount if and only if you provide the following foundation evidence. Prove that council tax legislation applies to a living woman, man in some cases. We're not doing that subject today. Oh Lord. Right, was the payment notice? So there's I mean, I don't even know if you want me to read them out. There's like 1, 2, I think there's about 35. 33, yeah, 33 questions that we're asking them.
Really?
To provide, yeah.
Could you read them?
I could, absolutely, if we've got time. I don't want to kind of overstep my... So, yeah, so prove that the council legislation applies to a living man or woman. All right, was the payment notice document sent to my legal fiction, or I, a sovereign woman? So that's my Tracy of the Mearns family, and not to Tracy Mearns, because I'm now referring myself as Tracy of the Mearns family. I'm not Tracy Mearns anymore when I'm dealing with these corrupt people. I require you to provide the evidence and proof of the legislation that shows sovereign men and women are required to comply with it, and as a result that they must pay council tax. This information needs to be clarified, because I'm not going into a contract with anybody that I don't know what I'm contracting for. Why would you? I spoke to them on the phone. See, before I actually put them on notice, I phoned them, right, because I got my reminder or whatever it was through the door, and I was like, oh, freaking done with it. Get on the phone. So I was like, blah, blah, blah. And they don't have a clue. They genuinely do not know what they are talking about. They are reading a script. And that is it. Oh, I'll pass you to, I'll pass you to so-and-so. And I see the sheriff court. Have you got the sheriff's name there, by any chance? No, right, okay, nah. That's all right, okay, well, I just phone. Yeah, phone the sheriff officers. Hi, are you in, is this a court? No, Google the address. No. Some fucking office in Falkirk. It's not, do you know, the council hire a room in a court to make it look really scary. That's what they do. They're all fakies. Do you know? They're all faking it. Aye. So, where did we get to? Do you have irrefutable evidence that your statutes apply to me as a common woman? Common woman? Common law woman? Common sovereign woman? Let's say that. Sounds better than common woman, eh? But yeah, so their acts and statutes, that doesn't apply in common law, right? It's null and void. Doesn't apply. Who created this statute against me? Tracy, of the Mearns family. Who done that? Who pays you to take such action against me to enforce this legislation? Who gives them right to say, you have to pay this, and if you don't, we're taking you to court and you're going to end up banged up? By the way, in Scotland, you cannot go to jail for your debt, because there is no, debt does not exist, all right? You can in England, it's a whole different ballgame. They've got it a wee bit tougher down there, but Scots law is one of the toughest ones to break. I've lived in England as well, and yeah, but if it's fraud, if you are defrauding them, that is different, right? So you can't claim, because I do know somebody that has gone to jail for fraud of the council, the system, the benefits, whatever. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about, you know, this kind of scenarios where people are demanding money from you that you don't have to pay. Okay, so who pays you to take such? Yeah, we've done that, to enforce the legislation. Where does this person get their authority? So yeah, provide the proof. I'm asking them. I want to see who's got the authority to do this. I require you to provide the evidence and proof of authority and claim over a sovereign man and woman who gave you this authority and claim. This would be slavery and is a criminal offence. Who has a higher claim on me other than me? Nobody. Right? There's nobody above me. I don't care what anybody says. There's nobody above me. There's nobody above any of you. We're all equal. We're all the same. Nobody is above anybody. We're all equal. Who will bear witness that I am owned? So they are trying to own us. They're trying to control us. Right? They're doing a bloody good job. Well, they're not with me anymore. But will you be able to present a witness who has a higher claim on me than me? So are they trying to say that the judge is better than me? Is he going to try and get one up on me? Don't think so. I did not and do not agree to be governed, taxed or fined. You do not own me. These are powerful notices, right? And you probably will get, after you serve that first notice, you will get probably another wee letter for them. oh hi, you still due me money? And we're going to hit them with it because they're not answering. This is what we're asking them to do for us. Because if they asked you to do that, we would feel obliged to do it. You know, people ask you for your name and your address. Oh, right, oh, I'll give you, you need my signature? Oh, I'll give that as well. There you go. We sign ourselves over for a lot of shenanigans. Right? And we really need to be careful. So, I'm asking them to prove that they have the authority over me. Who gave you that authority? And who said that that was, you know, simply because your employer says you may act with authority over me. Prove you have my consent to be taxed. Another one. They're not going to tell you, oh, by the way, you didn't need to pay tax. Do you know what I mean? It's voluntary. Aye, they're not going to. Prove I consented to be represented by my legal fiction. They're just assuming that I am Tracy Mearns. Do you know? They're just assuming that. That's a whole different, topic. And I've not got time to go into that today, but we have got somebody else coming to do common law, so they might touch on that. But I'm also asking them, who is East Lothian Council? Who are you? Like, who are you? Who are you? Do you know? Tell me. They'd be like, don't know. So, on what basis does East Lothian Council derive its authority to impose a tax, mandatory or otherwise? If it is a private corporation operating in commerce and they get a DUNS number, we can talk about that later because I'm going to lose probably. Be here all night, eh? So on what basis is East Lothian Council accessing, processing, storing specific personal data and information about the inhabitants if it is a private corporation operating in commerce? So if they were a private corporation, they wouldn't be asking all these personal access and processing questions. On what basis does East Lothian Council believe taxation is a legal requirement, not a lawful one? On what basis does East Lothian Council believe taxation is mandatory? On what basis does East Lothian Council believe taxation is a mandatory obligation? So there are a couple of these ones, blah, blah, blah. What does, let me see if there's another act that they've broke down there. Provide the full accounting. I think I asked that on the phone when I first done before I put them on notice, and I'd say, guys, look, it pays, your council tax pays for schools. It's like, I did go to school. I bet you got children. I didn't go to school either. I homeschool them. Oh, what about your bins? I just take it to the skip. All right. Street lights? I'm not out at night. I've got a torch. Do you know? So, and this, it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. When you phone them and say, where's my council tax? Where's my money going? I'm not interested in Jock next door. I didn't really care what he does with his money. It's my money. Where's it going? That's what they'll tell you. It's going to it's the schools, it's got to pay your lights, it's got to do your rubbish, bins, blah, blah. You can all do that yourself. School's slightly different. I'm fortunate, my daughter's 16 now, she's left. I did homeschool for a couple of years, on and off, until I got fed up and told her to go back. Just, actually, you be indoctrinated in school. I'll just continue over here in my own wee bubble. Yeah, so it's true. We've not asked to be taxed by the council. The council tax is my biggest bugbear. One, I have to say, and I have to say, was the first one I done. Touch wood. Mine did go to the sheriff's officers for East Lothian Council is a company called Stirling Park, who are in Bathgate or Broxburn or something like that. I've got their guides on notice as well. And they've passed it, I'm pretty sure, I've done a few, so I think they've passed it to another company, but I've not heard anything, I've heard nothing. I did initially, because they get a bit of a fright and then they go, oh God, we'll need to give her something, we'll need to write this, because we're asking them the next pages, so that's only page 4. Firstly, I shall make it very clear that address that you have on your file is a care of address. Alright, addresses are a whole different thing. You can actually have a PO box address. If you get a letter from a PO box address, on the back of the envelope, they always usually have from a corporation, it will have a PO box, whatever, and postcode and whatever. A living man or woman cannot contract with a PO box. Okay, you cannot do it. You can get a PO box, I can get a PO box. So if they want to contact me, they can go and write to my PO box. 33 quid a month it costs on from Royal Mail. I've not done it. I'm not paying it. I get a bit of fun reading some of the letters they send me now because I've dropped the fear. Right, we need to drop the fear. It is all about that. Anyway. So the address that they have is a care of address only and not capable of handling time-sensitive mail. That's what we're telling them. That's why we've put a care of. So at the very beginning where we write our address, if we're writing a care of address, right, it's not capable of handling sensitive mail, which is what they send us when they're threatening us with all the shenanigans. So you hereby fully informed of this fact, and any contact with the dwelling shall be deemed harassment, all right, causing I, woman Tracy of the Mearns family, extreme alarm and distress, and such actions are criminal. All right, now we're being serious about this, right? I know it sounds quite extreme, but it is. What they're doing to us is extreme. So we're just taking that power back and giving it back to them, right? And we need to believe this because I believe this. Right, unless we've got that knowledge and that power, you're going to flip at the first hurdle and you're going to see a letter and you're going to go, oh my God. So the purpose of this notice is for you to cease and desist from these torts and the potential criminal offence. All right, I didn't want any more letters for them to say you're due me £400 because that's causing me stress because I don't have £400 to pay them. Well, they do, but they're not getting it. I don't have to pay them it, all right. If you wish to unlawfully continue on your current path with the full knowledge of that, which is evident herein, you shall be doing so under, now this is a common law term, motu proprio, right, which basically means of your own accord. All right, they're using a bit of Latin there. And I shall be happy to swiftly and without effort bring claim on yourself and your private for-profit corporation, East Lothian Council. All right, so I'm telling them, if you don't stop harassing me, I'm coming for you. Like, and I will take you to court. I'm not. I'm just telling them. She threatens me for money. I'm threatening her back, all right? But I'm doing it nicely. Might not sound like that, but it is nice. It's as nice as it can be anyway. I didn't make these notices, by the way. I paid for these initially when I started my process. So I've adapted some of them to suit, because obviously they were in English, obviously they were in English. It was England, so I've had to adapt a few of them, and I've changed a few paragraphs to suit certain scenarios. Council tax one's not really changed though. So a lawful contract not obtained by any deceptive means whatsoever needs to exist, and this to be proved to exist showing the agreement to exchange, the considerations of the exchange and intent to contract with both parties. We've already said that. That has to happen for it to be lawful. All right. The considerations must be equal as both sides consider them to be, and must come entirely from the resources of each party, and neither party is able to dictate the consideration of the other. So basically, the council can't say, right, you're due me 40 quid, and I'm saying, oh, I've not got 40 quid. So that's not a contract, right? Because we're not agreeing. Both parties have got to agree with that contract. If Adam says, right, well, I'll give you £20, or you're due me £20, I'll say, I've got £20. That's a contract. I'm agreeing to that. I'm saying, right, Matthew, or Adam, sorry, I can give you that £20. That's fine. That's happy days. But if somebody's demanding money off you that you genuinely don't have, or even if you do, right, let's say you genuinely don't have that money. And I'm just talking council tax here. We've got electricity, gas. I didn't really want to go down the credit cards because I didn't want you maxing them out and then, deciding you're not paying them. Although I know people that have done it and bought campers and fecked off grid and, happy days. It's doable. But we're not going down that. We're just going to stick with council tax. We're going to deal with the energy companies because they're just a showery jar. So I don't pay that either. So that's my two main ones. I have put other silly wee things on notice because, like car parking charges and but get the big guys. Do you know what I mean? Bring them down, get them to their knees because they're just about there, by the way. They are just about there. So for a contract to be lawful in a court of law, it has to be agreed by both parties. That's basically what we're telling her. It was pointed out by Sir Edward Coke, the Lord High Chief Justice of England, and the terms and conditions for acceptance and commencement of contract. This can all be found online. This is a personal notice of liability. A legal and lawful notice of liability may be used as evidence in court, if needed, and intends to enlighten you and protect you from attracting equitable, civil and criminal liability, whether domestic or international, and whether an existing court or one to be convened under natural law principles in relation to your actions. Now that sounds quite long-winded, but this is a powerful person. We're personally serving her a notice. All right. We're asking for a data subject access request, which is short DSAR. I don't know if people have heard of them or if they've asked for any, but with immediate effect, cease and desist of all obtaining, recording, processing, sharing and holding any personal data which I, woman Tracy Mearns, or all the capital legal fictions, so you'll find a lot of bills come in with capital letters. We don't answer that. We don't talk to people that write in capital letters. So yes, blah, 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 that's a DCR. So yes, all capital letters, Tracy Mearns, dead entity. So we're not answering to any of the legal fiction stuff. We're not going to answer to them. We've told them that we are now wanting to be known as Tracy the Mearns family. If they're not writing to us like that, we're not interested. They're just getting their letters straight back in the post. All right. Living flesh and blood beneficiary, chief executor and sole authorised agent. That's me. That's me. That's you. That's everybody. Right? We have this power. And we need to get this back. It's my trust. It's my estate. It's my life. It's my sovereignty. So with immediate effect, we're telling them to cease and desist or not to begin to carry out any operation or series of operations or instruct third-party agents involved in my private data. So that is where they're breaking their own data protection. So when you don't pay your council tax, they'll send it to the sheriff officer and they'll deal with it. They're not allowed to transfer your information. Have you asked? Did you give them that right? No, you never. So they're breaking that as well. All right. But that's why we want to get the council. We don't want to let it get to sheriff officer stages. We don't want to pass it on. We want to hit the council where it bloody hurts, right? They're skint as it is. They've no bloody money, right? They've no money. I don't think they've ever had money, but they're really struggling at the moment. Hit them where it hurts. Stop paying it. Just stop paying your council tax. It's easy. So, we're giving them 28 days to get that information, what they hold on us. Right? It's a GDPR. We're telling them to stop harassing us. And they do. They have. They've stopped harassing me. And so we're asking them for the data that we're requiring. Right, a copy of the relevant terms and conditions. It's signed in wet ink. A true and certified copy, not a photocopy, of the deed of assignment, deed of novation. These are also terms. Wet and signatures. Provide evidence by stating the exact law that I, woman Tracy Mearns, have any lawful obligation to answer your questions under direct threat of harm, injury and loss. Right. So they want me to answer their shit, but we want them to answer ours. So that's that bit. Yeah, and it goes on. There's some terms there. There's common law jurisdiction which applies. That the notice. Please also take notice that the land known as Scotland is a common law jurisdiction, and any transgression of this notice will be dealt with private prosecutions according to and under common law. So we're not going to their monkey kangaroo court, right? We're not doing it because it's just a rented room in a court. Sheriff officers sitting in their wee office in Falkirk or whatever like that. It's no scary at all. Do you know? He's no scaring me if he comes to my door. I'm like, hiya, you want a cup of tea? And that's it. It's dropping the fear. It's all bits of paper. It's all words on paper. It means nothing when you know where you stand. Do you know? So we're telling them to back off, right? Absolutely. There's a lot. Yeah. Right, go for it. Yep, I'll stop talking. Because I did tell you it was a big topic. Yeah, it's a huge topic. We're charging them fees if they don't back off. That was basically the end of it. And then There is more. Aye, there's more in that, but I've got these. If anybody wants them, you know, I've got an email address, because this is a process to get these done. They need stamped and signed and blah blah blah. So I hope that was helpful, guys. I do.